There are days when you wake up and you already feel tired, not because you have done too much, but because your mind has been carrying too much. Too many thoughts, too many expectations, too many conversations that never happened. Too many things you wish you had said, too many things you wish you could take back. And sometimes you look at your life and wonder, why don't I feel better? You have responsibilities, you have dreams, you have people depending on you, you have things you want to accomplish. And yet, somewhere beneath all of it, there is a quiet exhaustion that nobody else can see. But let me tell you something today. You do not always need a completely different life to feel better. Sometimes you need a different way of living the life you already have. Sometimes healing does not begin with a dramatic decision. It begins with one small habit repeated long enough to remind your heart that you matter. We spend so much time looking for the big answer that we overlook the small things that are quietly shaping our lives every single day. The way you begin your morning matters. The things you say to yourself matter. The people you give your energy to matter. The moments when you choose to rest matter. The things you allow into your mind matter. And the way you end your day matters. So today, I want you to stop believing that you have to fix everything at once. You don't. You just have to begin. Begin with something small. Begin with something you can control. Begin with something that brings you back to yourself. The first habit is simple. Start your day before the world starts demanding something from you. Before you reach for your phone, reach for yourself. Before you read somebody else's opinion, listen to your own thoughts. Before you allow notifications, messages, problems, and responsibilities to enter your mind, give yourself a few quiet moments. Sit still, breathe deeply. Open the curtains, drink some water, look outside. Take a moment and say, I am here. I have another day. I have another opportunity. Because when you begin your morning in reaction, you spend the rest of the day reacting. But when you begin your morning with intention, you remind yourself that your life belongs to you. You don't need an hour-long morning routine. You don't need expensive products. You don't need a perfect sunrise. You need a few minutes where you are not running from one demand to another. Give yourself 10 quiet minutes, 10 minutes to breathe, 10 minutes to think, 10 minutes to decide what kind of person you want to be today. And perhaps you will discover that peace was not missing from your life. You were simply moving too fast to notice it. The second habit is to move your body every day. You do not have to become an athlete. You do not have to spend hours in a gym. You do not need to punish your body because you think it is not good enough. Because your body deserves to feel alive. Walk the stand. Dance. Climb the stairs. Stand up and breathe. Take a walk without your phone. Let your feet touch the ground. Let your shoulders relax. Let your body remember what movement feels like. There is something powerful about walking when your mind is crowded. You may begin the walk carrying 100 thoughts, and you may return carrying fewer, not because every problem disappeared, but because you gave your mind space to breathe. Sometimes you don't need another person to tell you what to do. Sometimes you need to step outside and move. Your body has been carrying you through every difficult day you have survived. Be kind to it. Do not wait until your body breaks down before you start treating it with respect. Move today, even if it is only for 15 minutes, because taking care of yourself is not selfish. It is responsibility. The third habit is to become careful about what you say to yourself. Listen to me closely. You can survive criticism from other people and still heal. But if you spend every day criticizing yourself, where will you go to feel safe? You cannot hate yourself into becoming better. You cannot insult yourself into becoming confident. You cannot constantly remind yourself of your failures and expect your heart to remain strong. There is a difference between accountability and cruelty. Accountability says, I made a mistake and I can learn from it. Cruelty says, I made a mistake, therefore I am a failure. Do not confuse the two. You are allowed to correct yourself without destroying yourself. You are allowed to admit that you could have done better without deciding that you are worthless. You are allowed to be unfinished. You are allowed to be learning. You are allowed to have a bad day without believing you have a bad life. So when you catch yourself saying, I can't do this, pause. Ask yourself, is that really true? Maybe the truth is, I am struggling with this. That is different. Maybe you are not incapable. Maybe you are simply tired. Maybe you are not weak. Maybe you have been carrying something heavy for too long. Maybe you are not behind. Maybe your journey is simply moving at a different pace. Speak to yourself with the same compassion you would give someone you love, because you are listening. Your heart hears every word. The fourth habit is to protect your attention. Your attention is one of the most valuable things you own, and yet, every day people give it away without realizing it. They wake up and scroll, they compare. They watch people they don't know live lives they cannot verify. They consume arguments, they absorb fear. They carry other people's opinions into their own homes. And then they wonder why they feel mentally exhausted. You have to learn that not everything deserves access to your mind. Every conversation does not deserve your response. Every opinion does not deserve your consideration. Every argument does not deserve your energy. Every notification does not deserve your attention. Sometimes peace begins when you stop allowing everything to interrupt you. Turn off the noise. Put the phone down. Leave the conversation, close the application. Walk away from the argument. Protect your mind the way you would protect your home. You wouldn't open your front door and invite every stranger inside. So why do you allow every negative thought, every angry comment, every comparison, and every piece of unnecessary drama to walk straight into your mind? Be selective. Your attention is your life in small pieces. Where your attention goes, your life follows. Give your attention to what builds you. Give it to people who love you. Give it to your work. Give it to your dreams. Give it to your family. Give it to your faith. Give it to the quiet moments that remind you who you are. The fifth habit is to do one thing every day that makes you proud of yourself. Not impressed, proud. There is a difference. Maybe you finish something you have been postponing. Maybe you exercise. Maybe you read 10 pages. Maybe you clean your room. Maybe you apologize. Maybe you keep a promise you made to yourself. Maybe you finally say no to something that has been draining you. Maybe you spend 30 minutes working toward a dream that nobody else understands. It does not have to be extraordinary. It has to be intentional, because confidence is not built by thinking about how capable you are. Confidence is built by giving yourself evidence. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you build trust with yourself. Every time you say you are going to do something and then actually do it, something inside you becomes stronger. You begin to think, I can count on me. And that feeling is priceless. Because there will be moments when nobody else is available. There will be nights when you have to encourage yourself. There will be mornings when you have to motivate yourself. There will be seasons when the applause disappears. And in those moments, you need to know that you have your own back. So give yourself one victory every day. One small victory, one thing you can look back on before you sleep and say, I did that. Do it consistently. Watch what happens. The person you become through those small victories will be stronger than the person you were waiting to become through one giant breakthrough. And the sixth habit is to end your day by releasing what you cannot control. This may be one of the hardest lessons you will ever learn, because the mind loves unfinished business. It replays conversations. It imagines tomorrow. It asks, what if? What if they leave? What if I fail? What if it doesn't work? What if I made the wrong decision? What if something goes wrong? And before you know it, you are lying in bed, trying to solve tomorrow with the emotions of today. You cannot live peacefully if you are constantly trying to control what has not happened yet. At the end of your day, tell yourself, I did what I could today. Maybe you didn't do everything, but you did something. Maybe you made mistakes, but you learned. Maybe today was difficult, but you survived it. And now you are allowed to rest. You do not have to solve your entire life before you close your eyes. Some things need time. Some answers need patience. Some doors will open when they are ready. Some situations will change without you forcing them. And some things will never be within your control. That does not mean you are powerless. It means you are human. So release what belongs to tomorrow. Let tomorrow carry tomorrow. Tonight, carry only what belongs to today. And if you believe in God, place what you cannot control in His hands. You were never meant to carry everything alone. You were never meant to know every answer. You were never meant to predict every outcome. Sometimes faith is simply saying, I don't know what comes next, but I trust that I will meet it when it arrives. Now think about these 6 habits. Begin your day intentionally. Move your body. Speak kindly to yourself. Protect your attention. Quate one small victory. Release what you cannot control. 6 simple habits. Nothing complicated, nothing impossible. And yet, if you practice them consistently, they can change the way you experience your life. Because feeling better every day does not mean you will never feel sad. It does not mean you will never become disappointed. It does not mean difficult people will disappear. It does not mean every plan will work. It means you become stronger at meeting life as it comes. You stop demanding that life be perfect before you allow yourself to be peaceful. You stop waiting for everything to go right before you give yourself permission to feel grateful. You stop postponing your happiness until some future version of your life arrives. You begin to understand that life is happening now, not someday. Now this breath matters, this morning matters, this ordinary afternoon matters, this quiet evening matters. Do not overlook your life because you are waiting for a more exciting one. There are people who would give anything to have another ordinary day, another morning, another conversation, another chance, another opportunity to walk outside and feel the sun, another chance to tell someone they are loved. Another chance to begin again. You have that chance today, so use it. Do not make your life harder by demanding perfection from yourself. Give yourself room to grow. Give yourself permission to change. Give yourself permission to rest. Give yourself permission to start over. You are not required to become a completely different person overnight. You only need to make one better choice, then another, then another. And eventually, those choices become habits, those habits become character, and that character becomes the life you live. So, tomorrow morning, do not try to transform your entire existence. Just wake up, breathe, be grateful, move. Speak kindly to yourself, protect your attention. Do one thing that makes you proud, and when the day is over, release what you cannot control. Then wake up and do it again. Because sometimes the most powerful transformation is not loud. It is quiet. It is waking up one morning and realizing that you no longer react the way you used to. You no longer chase everything. You no longer need everyone's approval. You no longer punish yourself for being human. You no longer allow every problem to steal your peace. You become calmer, stronger, more intentional, more present. And one day, you look around and realize that the life you were desperately trying to change has slowly become a life you are grateful to live, not because everything became perfect, but because you became more present inside it. So take care of yourself, not only when you are exhausted, not only when you are broken, not only when somebody reminds you. Take care of yourself because your life is worth caring for, your peace is worth protecting, your body is worth respecting. Your mind is worth guarding, your dreams are worth pursuing, and your heart deserves a home within you. Start small, start today, and keep going. Because a better life is not always built in one magnificent moment. Sometimes it is built quietly, patiently, faithfully, one simple habit at a time. There comes a moment in life when you realize that peace is not something you find after everything has been fixed. Peace is something you learn to build while life is still happening, while the bills still exist, while the questions remain unanswered, while some people misunderstand you, while some doors are still closed, while the future is still uncertain. Because if you keep telling yourself, I will finally be peaceful when everything gets better, you may spend your entire life waiting for a perfect season that never comes. There will always be something. There will always be another responsibility, another decision, another unexpected conversation, another disappointment, another morning when you wake up and realize that life has placed something new in front of you. And that is why you have to build a daily life that feels peaceful from the inside. Not a life that looks peaceful from the outside. There is a difference. A person can have a beautiful house and a restless heart. A person can have money and still be afraid. A person can have thousands of people around them and still feel completely alone. A person can smile all day and go home exhausted from pretending. Peace is not about what your life looks like when somebody else is watching. Peace is about what happens inside you when nobody is watching. It is the feeling of being able to sit alone with your thoughts without needing to escape them. It is waking up without immediately feeling that you are already behind. It is knowing that you do not have to answer every message immediately. It is knowing that you do not have to explain every decision. It is knowing that someone else's disappointment does not automatically mean you have done something wrong. It is knowing that you can walk away from what disturbs your spirit without feeling guilty for choosing yourself. And perhaps most importantly, it is learning that you do not have to live in constant emotional emergency. Listen to me. You were not created to spend every day fighting fires that you started because you were afraid to say no. You were not created to constantly chase people who are uncertain about you. You were not created to spend every night replaying conversations, wondering whether somebody misunderstood you. You were not created to wake up every morning and immediately enter the battlefield of everybody else's expectations. At some point, you have to ask yourself a serious question. What would my life feel like if I stopped making everything urgent? What would happen if you stopped treating every notification like an emergency? What would happen if you stopped believing that every opinion required a response? What would happen if you stopped running after people who had already shown you that they were not running toward you? What would happen if you stopped turning every mistake into a personal attack against yourself? What would happen if you allowed your life to become quieter, not empty? There is a difference. Does not mean you have no ambition. Does not mean you have stopped caring. Quiet means you have stopped allowing everything to control your emotional temperature. You can still dream deeply while living peacefully. You can still work hard without destroying yourself. You can still love people without losing yourself. You can still desire more while appreciating what you already have. You can still have goals without making your worth dependent on whether you reach them tomorrow. That is the kind of life you want to build. A life where ambition and peace can sit at the same table. A life where discipline does not become punishment. A life where success does not require you to abandon yourself. A life where you can walk into a room without wondering whether everyone approves of you. A life where you can say no without writing an essay explaining why. A life where you can rest without feeling ashamed. A life where you can wake up and say, I don't have to prove that I deserve to exist today. You already exist. You already matter. Your worth did not begin when somebody noticed you. And your worth will not disappear when somebody leaves. You have to build your daily life around that truth. Start with your mornings. Do not give the first moments of your day to chaos. There is something sacred about the first few minutes after you wake up. That is when your mind is still quiet enough to choose its direction, and yet so many people wake up and immediately hand their minds over to the world. They grab their phones, they look at messages, they check social media, they see somebody else's success, somebody else's vacation, somebody else's relationship, somebody else's body, somebody else's business. And before their feet even touch the floor, they have already started comparing their life to 10 different people. Then they wonder why they feel inadequate. Protect your mornings. Give yourself a few moments before the world gets access to you. Drink water. Open a window. Stretch, breathe. Pray if you pray. Sit quietly. Think about what actually matters today. You do not need to solve your entire life before breakfast. You only need to decide how you want to walk through this particular day. Maybe today you will be patient. Maybe today you will stop explaining yourself. Maybe today you will finish the task you have been avoiding. Maybe today you will speak gently. Maybe today you will protect your peace when somebody tries to pull you into unnecessary conflict. Give yourself one intention, then carry it with you. because peace is often built through small decisions that nobody applauds. It is built when you choose not to respond immediately. It is built when you take a breath before speaking. It is built when you walk away instead of arguing. It is built when you say, "I need some time to think." It is built when you decide that you do not need to attend every emotional battle that invites you. Not every battle is yours. Some battles are simply distractions wearing the clothes of importance. And if you spend your entire life responding to everything, you will have no energy left for what truly matters. Your attention is precious. Your energy is precious. Your time is precious. Stop giving them away casually. You do not need to be available to everyone all the time. Being reachable is not the same as being responsible. Someone can contact you and you can choose to answer later. Someone can misunderstand you and you can choose not to correct them. Someone can dislike your decision and you can still sleep peacefully. Someone can leave your life and you can still continue growing. That is inner peace. It is not the absence of people. It is the absence of unnecessary dependence on their reactions. You begin to understand that people are allowed to have opinions about you. They are allowed to misunderstand you. They are allowed to disagree. They are allowed to walk away. And you are allowed to remain grounded. Imagine how much energy you would recover if you stopped trying to manage everybody's perception of you. Imagine waking up and not wondering who is talking about you. Imagine going through your day without checking who viewed your story, who liked your post, who responded, who didn't respond, who followed you, who unfollowed you. Imagine being so secure in your own life that you no longer need constant evidence that you matter. That is freedom, and freedom feels peaceful. You also have to become intentional about the people you keep close. Not everyone deserves unlimited access to you. Loathe people, forgive people, wish people well, but understand that forgiveness does not require unlimited access. You can care about somebody and still create distance. You can love somebody and still have boundaries. You can wish someone success and still know they cannot walk with you into your next season. Peace sometimes requires distance, not because you hate someone, because you finally understand what their presence costs you. Pay attention to how you feel after spending time with people. Do you feel lighter? Do you feel respected? Do you feel safe enough to be honest? Do you feel like you can breathe? Or do you leave every interaction questioning yourself? Do you feel drained? Do you feel small? Do you feel like you have to perform? Do you feel like you have to defend every part of yourself? Your body often knows what your mind is still trying to explain. Listen, peaceful relationships do not mean perfect relationships. There will be disagreements. There will be misunderstandings. There will be difficult conversations. But there should also be room to breathe. There should be respect. There should be honesty. There should be accountability. There should be the freedom to be human. Build a life where you do not have to constantly protect yourself from the people closest to you. And if you discover that you do, pay attention. Your peace is telling you something. Another part of building a peaceful life is learning to enjoy ordinary moments. We have been trained to believe that happiness must be dramatic. We think something extraordinary has to happen before we can feel alive. A promotion, a new relationship, a vacation, a huge financial breakthrough, a major accomplishment. But there is a quiet kind of happiness that does not announce itself. It is the first sip of coffee in the morning. It is clean sheets. It is sunlight entering the room. It is laughing with someone you love. It is walking outside after rain. It is finishing your work and knowing you did your best. It is sitting quietly without needing entertainment. It is hearing a song that brings back a beautiful memory. It is eating a meal when you are genuinely hungry. It is having enough time to breathe. These moments may seem small. They are not. They are your life. Do not become so obsessed with the destination that you insult the journey by refusing to enjoy it. You are not only living during the big moments. You are living during Tuesday afternoons. You are living during ordinary mornings. You are living while washing dishes. You are living while driving. You are living while waiting. You are living while learning. You are living while starting over. If you only allow yourself to feel alive when something exciting happens, you will miss most of your own existence. Slow down enough to notice there is beauty around you that your hurry keeps hiding. And there is another thing you must learn, real rest, not scrolling for 3 hours and calling it rest, not lying in bed while your mind continues working, not taking a break while feeling guilty the entire time, real rest. The kind that allows your body and mind to stop performing. You do not have to earn rest by reaching exhaustion. You are allowed to rest before you collapse. You are allowed to have an evening where you do less. You are allowed to say not today. You are allowed to close the door. You are allowed to sit quietly. You are allowed to sleep. Your body is not a machine. Your mind is not a machine. You cannot constantly demand output without giving yourself restoration. And if you keep treating exhaustion as proof that you are working hard, eventually your exhaustion will become the thing that controls your life. You do not need to be tired to prove that you are worthy. You need balance, work, give the tent me. Be still, speak, listen, live forward, pause. Life needs both. Another powerful habit is learning to keep promises to yourself. When you tell yourself you are going to wake up earlier, and you do it, you build trust. When you tell yourself you are going to walk for 20 minutes, and you do it, you build trust. When you tell yourself you are going to stop entertaining a certain situation, and you honor that decision, you build trust. When you say, I am not going back there, and you do not go back, you build trust. This is how inner peace grows. You stop feeling divided against yourself. You stop making promises you constantly break. You become someone you can depend on, and there is tremendous peace in knowing that you have your own back. You may not know exactly what tomorrow will bring, but you know you will meet tomorrow with yourself. That matters, because when you trust yourself, uncertainty becomes easier to carry. You no longer need guarantees for everything. You can say, I don't know what will happen, but I know I will respond. That is strength. That is maturity. That is peace. And perhaps one of the greatest things you can do for your peace is stop demanding certainty from life. You want to know how everything will turn out. You want guarantees. You want promises. You want to know who will stay. You want to know which opportunity will work. You want to know whether your decision is right. But life rarely gives you that kind of certainty. Sometimes you have to move forward with incomplete information. Sometimes you have to trust yourself while still being afraid. Sometimes you have to take the next step without seeing the entire staircase. That does not mean you are lost. It means you are alive. You are not supposed to know everything. You are supposed to learn. You are supposed to adapt. You are supposed to grow. So stop demanding that tomorrow explain itself before you allow today to be peaceful. Let tomorrow come when it comes. Today has enough work for you. Today needs your attention. Today needs your presence. Today needs your breath. And if you believe in something greater than yourself, let your faith carry the things your hands cannot. There are moments when the strongest thing you can do is release. Release the person. Release the outcome. Releases the timeline. Releases the need to be understood. Releases the need to control every detail. Release the version of the future you imagined. Sometimes the door does not open because you are being denied. Sometimes you are being redirected. Sometimes the delay is not punishment. Sometimes it is preparation. Sometimes losing something is not the end of your story. Sometimes it is the beginning of a life you could not have imagined while holding on to what was hurting you. Peace comes when you stop demanding that life happen according to your schedule. You can have goals. You can have plans. You can work hard, but leave room for life to surprise you. Leave room for unexpected blessings. Leave room for a different path. Leave room for change. You do not need to know everything today. You only need to be faithful to the next right step, and while you are building this peaceful life, do not confuse peace with passivity. Peace does not mean you tolerate disrespect. Peace does not mean you never speak up. Peace does not mean you allow people to walk over you. Peace does not mean you stop pursuing your dreams. Sometimes peace requires courage. Sometimes peace requires saying that no. Sometimes peace requires leaving. Sometimes peace requires telling the truth. Sometimes peace requires making a decision that disappoints other people. Sometimes peace requires choosing your future over your comfort. You can be peaceful and powerful at the same time. You can be gentle and firm. You can be compassionate and have boundaries. You can forgive and still move forward. You can love and still let go. You can be ambitious and still breathe. That is the life you are building. Not a perfect life, a conscious life. A life where you know what you are allowing in. A life where you know what you are protecting. A life where you know what deserves your energy. A life where you are no longer available for every distraction. A life where your mornings have intention. Your relationships have boundaries. Your work has purpose. Your body has movement. Your mind has quiet. Your evenings have release. Your heart has room. And your soul has somewhere to breathe. Because when you build your life this way, something begins to change. You stop needing constant excitement. You stop chasing chaos because peace feels unfamiliar. You stop confusing anxiety with passion. You stop confusing unpredictability with love. You stop confusing exhaustion with achievement. You stop confusing attention with connection. You stop confusing being busy with being productive. You begin to recognize the difference between what is loud and what is meaningful. You begin to understand that some of the best things in life are quiet. A quiet mind, a quiet home, a quiet morning, a quiet confidence, a quiet relationship, a quiet faith, a quiet decision to keep going. And one day, you may find yourself sitting alone, looking around at the life you have built, and realize that nothing dramatic happened. You simply made different choices. You stopped answering everything. You stopped chasing everyone. You stopped abandoning yourself. You started resting. You started listening. You started moving. You started protecting your attention. You started honoring your word. You started appreciating ordinary moments. You started letting tomorrow be tomorrow. You started choosing peace again and again, even when chaos was easier. And slowly, almost without noticing, you became someone who no longer needs the world to be quiet in order for your heart to be still. You still have problems. You still have responsibilities. You still have dreams that are unfinished. You still have questions. But you are different now. You know how to return to yourself. You know how to breathe before reacting. You know how to pause. You know how to say no. You know how to rest. You know how to let go. You know how to begin again. And that knowledge becomes something nobody can easily take away from you. Because the greatest form of peace is not having a life where nothing goes wrong. It is having a life where you know how to remain yourself when something does go wrong. And every morning gives you another opportunity to practice that. Another opportunity to choose what enters your mind. Another opportunity to decide what deserves your energy. Another opportunity to protect your time. Another opportunity to speak kindly to yourself. Another opportunity to move your body. Another opportunity to appreciate what is already here. Another opportunity to release what you cannot carry. Another opportunity to become more comfortable with silence. Another opportunity to choose a slower breath instead of a faster reaction. Another opportunity to build a life that does not merely look good from a distance, but feels good when you are alone inside it. And perhaps that is what you have been searching for all along. Not a perfect life, not a life that impresses everyone, not a life without struggle, but a life where you can finally come home to yourself at the end of the day and feel that you did not abandon who you were just to survive what the world demanded of you. A life where you can sit in silence and not feel empty. A life where you can walk away without bitterness. A life where you can say no without guilt. A life where you can say yes without fear. A life where your happiness is not waiting for permission. A life where your peace is not dependent on someone else's behavior. A life where you are not constantly preparing for the next disaster. A life where you wake up and realize that you are not running anymore. You are living. You are breathing, you are choosing, you are becoming, and every small decision you make today is teaching your heart what kind of home you want to build inside yourself. So make that home gentle. Make it strong. Make it honest. Make it spacious enough for mistakes. Make it warm enough for your tired days. Make it disciplined enough to protect your dreams. Make it quiet enough to hear your own wisdom. Make it peaceful enough that you no longer have to run from yourself to feel okay. And when life becomes loud again, because it will, return to the simple things. Return to your breath, return to your values. Return to your boundaries, return to your faith, return to your body, return to the people who genuinely love you, return to the work that matters, return to the quiet truth that you do not need to have everything figured out. Return to the present moment, return to yourself, and then take the next step slowly, deliberately, without needing to know exactly where every road will lead, because sometimes the most beautiful life is not the one where you finally get everything you wanted, but the one where you become so grounded within yourself that whatever arrives, whatever changes, whatever leaves, whatever begins, you still know how to breathe, how to stand, how to choose, how to love, how to rest, and how to keep building a life that feels peaceful from the inside.